Hi, and welcome to the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Channel. My name is Ross Benjamin. I'm your host. It's Thursday morning. It's December the 21st, 4 days until Christmas. I hope everybody's got their Christmas shopping done and is enjoying this holiday season and continues to do so. But I can't say every Thursday because these two gentlemen here, my cohorts here, are jumping in and picking up the slack because we're a little shorthanded this week. Mr. Sean Higgs and Jesse Schule joining me today. And Sean, how are you?
Pretty good. No complaints. A couple days for Christmas. I got all my, Russ. It's like you think you have all the shopping done. My wife's like, "Don't go out and buy any more crap like we usually do. You think you're covered."
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, we'll see. Whatever.
Well,
Well, again, it's
just be thankful you have the money to do that because there's a lot
yes.
of people in this country that wish they had to go out Christmas shopping and just can't afford to do so. So we should count our thanks. You know what I'm
No, I
saying,
agree.
Sean?
Yeah.
Sometimes we take things for granted. I'm guilty of the same thing, my
Really,
friend.
and they're little things, right, Ross? It's like little things that
Yeah,
I just,
yeah. You just want to
you know.
make everybody happy. You know what I mean? And sometimes, no matter what you do, you can't make everybody happy. So, Jesse, talking about making people happy, the country of Thailand is ecstatic that Jesse Schule lives in their country, and they're honored and privileged. And we're honored and privileged to have you on this show, Jesse. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I guess I'm like one of the kids when it comes to Christmas shopping and all that. Christmas Day, when the kids start opening presents, I'm going to be just as excited as them because I have no idea what's in any of those boxes, where any of that stuff came from. My wife takes care of all that stuff. I'm too busy picking winners.
Yeah, well, God bless you. Some of us aren't that fortunate, and it's nothing against me or Sean's wife. It's just the way everybody has their, how could I put it? Everybody runs their household differently. So I would not ever take that for granted, Jesse. That's all I can tell you,
Yeah.
my friend. So I know Jesse would be real happy if he got a big box, and when he opened it, it was an ice cooler with ice in it and one of those brontosaurus burgers that he likes to put on the grill. So I mean,
Dry ice and Omaha steaks.
yeah, exactly, exactly right. So, in any event, our sponsor is GamblersWorld.net. There you'll find 10 of the finest handicappers in the country, including us three. We have 12 days of savings going on right now as it correlates to 12 days of Christmas. Not exactly because we started a lot earlier, and also it ends on Christmas Eve. But if you check from now until Christmas Eve day, which is Sunday, you'll notice there'll be a special every day. And today, if you go there right now, you'll get the rest of the NFL season for only $200. And I say only, folks, because we still have 3 weeks left of the regular season. And we also have it that will include all of our playoff selections right through the Super Bowl for whatever handicapper you choose or handicappers you choose. So there you have it. And like every other subscription plan, it's not 30 days or less, but I'm going to say this: if you purchase this, we're going to guarantee that you're going to make a profit from now until the end of the season, right through the Super Bowl, or we will credit your account back $200. How's that? And that's if you spend $200. Let me clarify that because some of you might use some credit you have in your account. So whatever you pay out of your pocket, folks, is what I'm trying to say. And that goes for everything at the site right now, every single game and multi-game daily package, 3 day, 7 day, 30-day subscription plans. If you don't win, you don't make a profit, we're going to credit your account back the exact amount of what you actually spent on that specific package. All right. We got three really good games we're going to be talking about today in the NFL. Sean will be looking at the real big matchup between the San Francisco 49ers and the Baltimore Ravens, the two top seeds in each conference. Could be a preview of the Super Bowl. You never know. That game goes on Christmas night. Jesse's going to be looking at a real important game for both teams, Dallas and Miami. That game will be played in Miami. on Sunday, and I'll be looking at the Bucs-Jags game on Sunday. Again, that game all of a sudden takes on pretty good importance when it comes to the playoff picture. And boy, oh boy, Sean, we were joking at the beginning of the year, your 10-1 ticket on Tampa Bay to win the NFC South, and you called it. You said this is going to be a wide open division, and somebody might win this with a 9-8 or 8-9 record. And right now, if the season were to end today, Tampa Bay is your division winner.
Yep, and on that they will catch the 6.5 over that they already did with their 7 wins.
Beautiful.
But yeah, I don't like to get ahead of myself. We don't want to get in front of the skis, as they say. Let's
yeah, but I mean, when I told you still had a great shot a few weeks ago, you were a little downtrodden on that. And
well, at that point, they had lost like 2 in a row after a nice start or something. So I was like, again, that's why I don't, whatever. If it happens, it happens. But it's good I'm in a good position. We got what, 2 weeks left in the regular season, 3 weeks left in the regular season, and I'm right there. Yeah, I can't complain. And I got home games.
Yeah. So Jesse, anything you want to add in terms of Mr. Higgs's crystal ball that he sees?
I was giving it the because I know what Sean thinks. I know he's just when you say that he has this 10-1 bet, he's just like, God, let's keep that on the back burner. Don't jinx it, Ross. Don't jinx it.
We have Saints at home next week. All right. And then we have Carolina on the road to end it. I mean,
well, again, those are all winnable games. And while we're at it, let me get to it. Jacksonville at Tampa Bay. I'm going to go first today, 4:05 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday. This game right now is a pick 'em, and the total is 42.5. Jacksonville, I don't want to say I told you so, folks, but a lot of you Jaguars fans came out of the woodwork to criticize me a few weeks back when I said that I thought not only Pittsburgh, but Jacksonville was a fraud as well. And I said that because of your point per game differential and your yard per game differential didn't match up with your 8-3 record at the time. I also said that if that doesn't improve, even if it stays steady, that this was unsustainable. Lo and behold, Jacksonville's gone 0-3 straight up in ATS in their last 3. They went from 8-3 to 8-6. They went from looking like a lock to win the AFC South, and now their playoff possibilities might be in jeopardy in terms of just making it as a wild card. And, the big thing here, guys, when I look at Jacksonville, and notably Trevor Lawrence, who I think is a very talented quarterback. I don't think anybody would question that. He checks all the boxes in terms of physicality, arm strength, the whole 9 yards. But, the Jags have committed 24 turnovers this year in their first 14 games. And it's very difficult when you turn the ball over like that, and with their yard per game and point per game differential to have a sustainable winning season. Now they're 8-6, and they still might end up with a winning record, but I just don't, even at this point, I don't think they're as good as their record indicates. 8-6 after 14 games, plus 0.4 point per game differential. That's less than a point a game with a winning record. And they're also being outgained by 18 yards per game. There's another thing to keep in mind. Since 2021, 2022, the Jags are 0-5 straight up after 3 consecutive ATS losses in a row. And like I said, not only have they lost their last 3, they failed to cover their last 3. And during this 3-game losing streak, their defense has been terrible, allowing 29 points a game, allowing 425 yards per game. So there's a lot of things that not to like about Jacksonville, the way they're playing right now. And like I said, I just didn't think they were as good as their record indicated before, but we'll see. Tampa Bay, on the other hand, 7-7. We mentioned Sean and his NFC South pick. And yeah, they're right now, they're sitting atop the division in the NFC South because of the tiebreaker. New Orleans is also 7-7. Atlanta's right behind them at 6-8. But like we just discussed, all 3 of the remaining games are very winnable. And you look at Tampa Bay, even though they're 7-7, they don't beat themselves. They only turn the ball over 14 times in 14 games, which for a 7-7 team tells me that they're right there, and they're probably not as bad as 7-7 might indicate. They're also a +6 in the turnover differential for the season. Tampa Bay, you look at since 1989. This is something, Jim Quinn, tune in here. Since 1989, NFL home teams that are coming off 3 straight wins versus an opponent coming off 3 straight losses, 104-27 straight up. That's 79.4% with an average point per game differential of +10.8. And again, this favors Tampa Bay in this situation. I'm going to take Tampa Bay here as a pick 'em or -110, whatever way you want to phrase it, over Jacksonville on Sunday. Jesse?
I already have Tampa Bay +3 myself on an earlier line. I do like Tampa. I guess you guys are old guys like me, so you probably both use Facebook, or maybe Sean doesn't actually, but Facebook has your memories, and it'll show you every day what you posted 365 days previously. Yeah. And 365 days ago, I posted a meme criticizing Colin Cowherd, because Colin Cowherd hates Baker Mayfield. He's been saying since the guy got into the league that he was going to be a bust. And the meme looks something like Baker Mayfield in an overcoat with unshaven, looking like he's doing a perp walk when he was with Cleveland, to Baker Mayfield today, and he's wearing no shirt. He's all buff, and he's got a Bengal tiger beside him, standing in front of a Maserati, and it says then and now. Yeah. And Baker's not, he's not going to win any MVP awards or anything, but with all the quarterback injuries in the league, there's probably a lot of teams that are a little bit upset with themselves for passing on Baker Mayfield, because he was available to a lot of teams, and Tampa Bay ended up getting him, and I think it's worked out great for them. So, and I actually like to cheer for Baker Mayfield myself, with all the negativity.
Jeff, in Baker Mayfield's defense, and chime in on this, please. I think a lot of the criticism he received at Cleveland was the fact that they drafted him #1 overall. And, it's not his fault in the draft position where he was drafted. And I didn't think he was a #1 overall choice, but correct me if I'm wrong.
There were moments in Cleveland, though. I mean, Cleveland had lost. They'd had 10 straight losing seasons where they topped out at maybe 3 wins, and he gets them to over the hump to actually having a winning record for a couple years there. He wasn't threatening to win any MVP trophies, but he was winning games.
Was that the same draft with Josh Allen and
Sam Darnold, I believe it was.
Sam Darnold and Lamar Jackson and Josh Rosen.
Colin Cowherd was on record for saying that Sam Darnold's going to be way better than Baker Mayfield. That was his big comparison. And to be fair, Sam Darnold, if he could get a job anywhere, might be a decent quarterback in his own right. But he had.
I took a Sam Darnold comeback of the year ticket at 50-1 this year, thinking that Purdy had a bad arm and wouldn't be able to perform.
Well, you know what? In hindsight, Sean, the only thing. The bottom line is, if Purdy would have got hurt, you would have had a good shot at that. You can't say that's a bad ticket, because you're basing it on a guy who had an injury history, coming off a bad injury last year.
And being on a team, I don't want to jump into, I know you're going to get to me on this thing anyway, but with Baker, I say this all the time. You get quarterbacks picked in a top 5, top 10. You're going to a bad team with a new coach that has holes everywhere. How long is it going to take you to be awesome? It's very rare that team is going to be good in a year or two.
Yeah. They went to Green Bay last week, and I thought the key component, I did have Tampa Bay in that game against Green Bay last week, but I really thought the key component would be Tampa would be able to run the ball to open up the play action passing game against a porous Green Bay run defense. But, as it turns out, Mayfield went for over 300 in that game. and was a key component in getting the win. And they only ended up with 99 rushing yards and a little over 3 yards per carry. So you got to look at this guy. He's always, in my mind, has always been better than he's been given credit for. Now, is he a top 10 quarterback at this juncture? No, probably not, right? But you could do a lot worse than him, right, Sean?
He takes care of business. The guy, he does what he's got to do. And in today's NFL, he's not hurting you. What do you say? They have 14 turnovers.
That's pretty good. 14
it's
turnovers.
Pretty good when you have some guys with quarterbacks that have like 12 interceptions themselves.
Yeah.
And you want to rag on him being the one pick. Like Lamar went late. Every other team had Lamar lined up at wide receiver. Like no one was using him as a quarterback. So don't be like, well, that's just typical Cleveland Browns. Well, that's every team ahead of the Ravens thought that too. So,
and the best pick of that draft, sorry, Josh Allen. All right, so let's get to the next game at number 7, where a lot of people criticize the hell out of Buffalo for doing that, including myself. I was not on board with that pick at number 7, guys, just so you know. So when I'm wrong, I admit it. All right, let's get to our next game. Jesse, the Dallas Cowboys, talking about the Buffalo Bills, they were pummeled last week. They were embarrassed. They were out. They got beat up physically on both sides of the ball. How do they respond this week, going back on the road against another AFC opponent in Miami, who presents a lot of challenges to them defensively? Do they respond in a positive manner, or does this spiral on them? So your take on this game right now, we're looking at Miami as a 1.5-point favorite in this contest, and the total in this game is 50. So go right ahead.
Yeah, I had a game of the year on Buffalo last week, so I was expecting Dallas to lose that game. I wasn't surprised. I thought it was a bad spot for Dallas. But, I love coming back on a team that I bet against one week and then betting on them the next week. I think it is a buy low spot for the Cowboys and a sell high spot for Miami. How much can we read into Miami's 30-0 win over the Jets? Obviously, that props them up. Everybody likes the Dolphins. Now, look at what they did last week. Are the Cowboys for real? A lot of doubt on the Cowboys. I think there's plenty of reason to doubt this Miami team. In fact, there's 28 reasons to doubt this Miami team because they've played 28 straight games without beating a single team with a winning record. I know the Cowboys' home-away splits might look significant. The Cowboys not as good on the road as they are at home. Of course, a lot of that might have to do with going to places like Buffalo, playing in the middle of December in challenging conditions. Miami presents a different scenario where it could be the heat, but probably not so much at this time of the year. I think the Cowboys are a lot more comfortable playing in Miami than they would be in Buffalo. And I think this Cowboy team is the real deal. And I'm not sure about this Miami team. 28 straight games without beating a team with a winning record. They're flashy. They do a lot of things that people like, that people fall in love with, but they don't really do it against good teams. They looked awful against Buffalo. They looked awful against Tennessee, and Tennessee's not that good. Tua was sacked 5 times in the loss to Tennessee. I think the Cowboys should be able to get to Tua here. Tyreek Hill is supposed to be back this week. I don't think that's official yet. He's still officially listed as questionable, but I think he was close enough to playing last week that he's probably going to play this week. Obviously a difference maker. Congratulations to Tyreek Hill, by the way. He just had his 7th child with a 6th different woman.
Yeah, and he's made, from what I read, Jesse, and correct me if I'm wrong, he's had 3 different women in the last 4 months come forward to say they recently got pregnant with him. So things are good at South Beach, I guess. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, he's going to have to win that MVP to make enough money to pay all those women. So yeah. Merry Christmas to the Hill family, bud.
He might end up being a spokesman for Trojan condoms, So anyway, Sean, what's your take here? Very interesting. It's a very good point, though, Jesse, on the 28 straight games without Miami beating a team with a winning record. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, I'll jump right into his talking about the splits there. Yeah, playing at San Fran, and Philly's a tough place. You're playing a division rival for Dallas on the road. It's different. than just some random squad. And I had Dallas last week, and I even said I'm going to take them, but I could see them losing that game, like 30-10, which was probably the final. But yeah, I like Dallas here. You lose. It's one thing losing bad, right? The team gets blown out. To be like physically embarrassing game is a whole nother level. Yeah. Where the comment, when your quarterback throws for 12 passes for 90 yards or whatever the heck, 9 completions, and you're just bulldozered. You expect a much better outing. And what's your say? You beat the Jets 30-0. You were a 13-point favorite before you blew a 13-point lead in the fourth quarter against Tennessee. So yeah, not shocked by them beating the Jets, shutting them out 30-0.
Yeah. It goes hand in hand, right? Your comparisons about being embarrassed and then following it up with a strong effort. So
this is the spot, Dallas. And again, I'm a Dallas fan. This is a huge game for them because next Saturday they're home versus the Lions, and we see how Dallas does against a team that kind of throws the ball. That game will be like a Seattle game, 40-35 or 37-30. That's going to be a back and forth game because you're going to have your pass interference just come out of the woodwork with two teams that like to chuck it. So Dallas, you better say, man, we were totally embarrassed here. Let's get our defense on the ball. And the offense, again, they're a speed kind of team, but I'm with Jesse on the Cowboys here.
Any thoughts on Tyreek Hill's fertility, Sean?
Got it good. I don't know.
Over and under on
not much swing.
Yeah, the over and under on lifetime kids is 10 now.
Not much soy in his diet to keep the testosterone low, man. He's rolling. Good for him.
Anyway, enough of that. My take is I agree with both of these gentlemen. My only concern here is Dallas has to stop the run much better than they did a week ago. I just can't see them being dominated at the line of scrimmage in consecutive weeks like they were last week. That front seven of Dallas is way too good for that to occur, in my opinion. Although Miami does present challenges in the run game. They got a couple of really good running backs.
You lose in a balanced attack, Ross, where, they run for 180 and a guy pays for 235 and you're losing a game normal. You just get literally run over. I mean, the offense couldn't do it. You look up, it's like, what the hell? They're running ball. You're like, all right, let's, we're only down 7. It's 14. We're still good. We could make a stop. They couldn't. That's a bad. I don't know. That's
James Cook had a career day. There's
fans and let's go. We got to get our.
Listen, I mean, if I told you guys that Josh Allen was going to throw for 95 yards in that game, I think we would all agree that probably equated to a Dallas double-digit win.
Yeah, and you flip that and think 34-13 Dallas.
The other way, right? Exactly. So. And it's hard to sack the quarterback, Jesse, when Buffalo only attempted 15 passes. In the running game, it set up play action pass when they did. So, you can't underscore that fact. Dallas was behind the 8 ball in a lot of ways last week. Number one, their pass rush, which is the key to their defense. They're built defensively, Sean. You could speak to this more than I can because you follow Dallas a lot more than I do. They're built defensively for playing with the lead, and built defensively where when you're playing with the lead, you're making teams one-dimensional, and you could utilize that pass rush and put not only sack the quarterback, but put pressure on the quarterback and force turnovers. And that wasn't the case last week. So it's imperative to me in this game that they stay within range, meaning they can't let the game get away from them early like it happened last week. They were down 21-3 at the half before, and at that point, now you become one-dimensional offensively. The other team's going to run the ball. And if you're not stopping the run, your pass rush is null and void. Yep. So correct me if I'm wrong, Sean.
No, they're get after the passer kind of thing. That's defense. It's a Michael Parsons led team, and that's get on it. But as much as you want to be able to control and get ahead, that's every team. But
but even more
Pollard
so
has not been super duper this year. I mean, just contested that. We're talking about like, hey, talk about it early in the year. We're like, hey, take a Pollard anytime TD. It's the offense got to go through him, right? I mean, he's not tearing it up here. The guy's got 800 yards. It's not. This offense is more of a little more passing than, anything. They just couldn't get it. Nothing went right for them last week. It was a bad game all around. That's why I expect teams on total dumpster fires like that, where it's like, man, no, we couldn't do anything. Especially a team like Dallas that
and
always
you also
does that.
expect the general public, novice bettors, general public betting, who always seem to have short memories. You also see you can almost count on them flocking to a team to play against Dallas because they saw that last week. Not only was it on, it was a game that was played on the card last week, and the result of which we saw in the domination, which it was a national game.
Yep.
It was in a spotlight. Yep. So, all right, let's get to the next game, and this is a real good one, man. 49ers and the Ravens, Christmas night, 8:15 p.m. Eastern time. Sean, right now the 49ers are a 5-point favorite, and the total in this game is 47. And, a wise man told me a long time ago, when you get a line of 5 or 5.5, find every way you can to use an excuse to use the dog at that number. And the numbers bear it out, but I just can't marry myself to that no-brainer type of handicapping. But by the same token, this is a tough one. Both teams are the number one seed right now. It's not like there's a lot of urgency and desperation on each side, but it could be a preview to a Super Bowl, like I said.
Well, I agree with that. I think the Ravens, I've said for a while, I think the Ravens are the best team in the AFC because Kansas City offense is a little if I say Mahomes is better than Lamar, that's fine. I'm not going to say as a whole team, the Ravens, I think, are the more complete bunch right now. But here comes Buffalo out of the blue. But I don't know. I'm still sticking to this is my Super Bowl because Niners have proven they are the cream of the crop. I don't care about their losses. When you take out a team's best two best offensive players, you're going to lose a game here and there. And it just happened that they happened to be out at the same time, and they dropped 3 in a row in a couple of heartbreaking fashion, But I'm going to go over here. The 5, it is total dead number, right? It's not 3. It's like I'm going to get those extra points. Like I guess you want the extra points. You're like, ooh, I'm getting more than 3.5, super. And the other side, like I just have to win by a touchdown. How easy is this one? So let's look at this total. I got 2 MVP quarterbacks. I got an offense in San Fran. I don't think teams can stop. I really don't. The Ravens, we saw them. We saw the Rams light them up. You saw last week on a Sunday night game where it was a ridiculous under, but missed field goals for Jacksonville, bonehead play calling at the end of the first half. That game could have been 17-17 at the half instead of what it was, and ending at that. I mean, that game should have, I think, sailed over the total the way it was going in the first half, but misplays. Ravens defense is good. I don't think they're slowing down the Niners. And what are we getting on Niners? 30-something plus points. They'll give up points here. The Ravens offense is too good. Even without Andrews, they still find ways to score.
Isaiah Likely stepped in pretty good in that role, right?
Bateman stepped up a little bit. Likely stepped up. They have some guys over there. It goes to the head coach. It's just a good team. What are you going to do about it? They're competitive all the time. Here, over 47, because I think the Niners are going to score in the 30s. I think Ravens are going to score points. I'm going to go over. I mean, what do I need here? 33-30? I mean, that's 60. I need 47. I mean.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. Baltimore,
that game
last week, by the way.
20 seems like a halftime score could be if things get crazy here. Christmas, who knows?
I went 4-1 on Sunday in the NFL. But I lost my top play, and it was on the Baltimore and Jacksonville game over the total. And Sean makes some good points. And the other thing is, too, in that game, Sean, Jacksonville had 185 yards in the first half and 0 points. It was the first time in NFL history any team ever got shut out with that many yards of total offense in the first half. So,
crazy.
Yeah. Jesse, your thoughts? This is a great matchup.
San Francisco all the way for me. This Baltimore team sort of has that look to it that Philly had a few weeks ago. They've been getting it done with smoke and mirrors. They had that overtime win over the Rams. They lost at home to the Browns. You look at their schedule, their last half a dozen games, they haven't really played anybody that in the caliber of San Francisco. Well, nobody's in the caliber of San Francisco, but they've been playing teams that they should easily beat. And they've, I'm not as much a believer. I know everybody's got these are the Super Bowl teams. I'm certainly there with San Francisco, and I'm a doubter when it comes to Baltimore. Well, for example, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens' history in the playoffs is they have a history of dominating during the regular season, and not getting out of the first round of the playoffs.
Absolutely, and every time I mention that, I get accused of being a racist by people. So because Lamar's the quarterback, I don't get it. You know what I mean? It's
the funny thing is, Ross. Guess what color the quarterback is on the team that beat them?
Yeah,
well, there's a 50-50 chance that he's the same
and
color
I've long
as Lamar.
contended, like Sean just said, I've long contended Patrick Mahomes still. Look, you got to look at Patrick Mahomes this year. He doesn't have the weapons he's had in years past. And Travis Kelce looks like he's sort of on the downslide of his career. He's still a very good tight end, but he's not as dominant as he was. And by the way, folks, he's half African American. So, come on, man. Stop with that stuff. I have no tolerance.
He has a record. Who is he losing to? The guy who wins a Super Bowl? Like, that's bad. I lost the guy who won a Super Bowl. What? This is the kind of comments I get, like, as a Dallas fan, like, oh, Romo's not good. It's not. You go and do what you can to win, and the defense gives up more points to a quarterback. Like, what? Well, you're supposed to do the job. Eventually, your defense has to make a stop for you to win. You'll put up 20-something points, you should win a game. Where's the defenses? And I'll say that about any team. Guys who come in and crush some quarterback, I don't care what quarterback it is. Where's the defensive stop? Make a stop, somebody. But I got to score every possession. Or
with Lamar, though, Sean, Lamar's numbers have been pretty bad in a lot of those losses. I think back a few years back to the Chargers.
But let's also look at that's a team. And again, I like them this year. I think it's Mark Andrews is their best player. He's out, and I say best player meaning to help the quarterback out. He's gone. This is as much as we talk about like Belichick not putting people around quarterbacks or wide receiver wise. It's one thing having Tom Brady. They bring in old Odell Beckham, old Steve Smith, like Anquan Bolden. Bateman. How about Hollywood? Oh, Hollywood Brown's gonna be the guy. Yeah, he's in Arizona. Like they don't put guys around him. They're running this football like it's 1991 with running backs.
I agree. Sean, I've long contended that when your tight end is your best option,
you got some problems.
I guess Kansas City did it last year with Kelce because that was the first year they didn't have Tyreek Hill, right? But
you need two weapons. You need a wide receiver.
You at least need one legitimate number one guy, right, on the outside. Number one receiver, a guy that's going to get you 1,000+ yards and score 10 or 12 touchdowns, a guy that you could depend on third down.
It is crazy that between Pittsburgh, the Browns, and the Ravens, they play football like it's 1991, right? Chubb, Harris, they're all like, who are the wide receivers on that team? It's like, oh, let's bring in an old Amari Cooper. Like, that's a team like we got a tight end. We're going to kind of ground it out,
Right. Right.
They should be a statue for Lamar, what he's done. Piling up wins.
I mean, that's what
piles up wins.
How about
Tampa Bay?
Tampa Bay?
A great team that's balanced. You're up against it.
How about Tampa Bay? I mean, I think a lot of guys would like to have Chris Godwin and Mike Evans.
Really?
So you know what I mean?
Again, we'll go back to this conversation about Baker. You got those two guys, and then you got who's the running back? White over there? Who's having White?
He's having a nice year. Yeah.
And I got a quarterback who's just finding a guy because I got open guys. Imagine Lamar with Evans and Godwin on that team.
Yeah, yeah. The AFC, and then we'll get to closing up shop here, but the AFC, and I agree with Jesse. I mean, I am totally convinced that San Fran is, and Sean, not only the cream of the crop in the NFC, but also the cream of the crop in the NFL. But the AFC, I mean, I know right now Baltimore's the number one seed, and they'll probably end up being the number one seed, right? But is anybody convinced that they're that much better than everybody else? You mentioned Kansas City, okay? Look, Kansas City lost to Buffalo last week at home. Kansas City is not the Kansas City we've seen in years past, other than the fact that I will say this is the best defense that Kansas City has had, in my estimation, years. Since Andy Reid has been there. And thankfully for that, because they wouldn't even be a playoff caliber team with the defenses they had in the past, because this offense is not getting it done the way we're used to seeing it get done. Cincinnati, the we wrote off. Jake Browning right now, again, I don't like to judge on small sample sizes, but is there any indication with the receivers he's got right now that he's going to slow down whatsoever? They're a very dangerous team. The only difference with Cincinnati is they don't play defense well. They're terrible defensively. Who else am I missing here, guys? It's wide open in the AFC in what I think. Anyway,
the Buffalo squad. Buffalo, you should drop a 34 spot at least next week or this week on the Chargers. Yeah. I think the Chargers are going to score some points. You give up 63, you're going to have a little heart and come out and play. You're still losing by double digits here. You got a revenger against New England, and then you have Miami. Like you sweep out here, and you're going to the playoffs, even as a wild card.
No, if they win out, Sean, they win the division.
Oh, that's right, because they beat Miami, because Miami's going to have
well, I take that back. If they win out, they need Miami to either lose to Dallas or Baltimore for them to win out and win the division. But if they win out,
it's possible.
I mean, you would think they're on the outside looking in right now. So
you could have Baltimore coming back home from getting embarrassed on national TV on Monday Night Football and kind of ready to play. I mean, let's be honest. Both of those teams, Miami and Baltimore, could lose. Maybe we'll lose this Sunday, and then they're battling in a spot for Miami where maybe Baltimore's like, you know what? Not much as a huge must-win game for us, but they're still playing for home field.
Yeah.
Right? Why can't Baltimore win there? They got home field on the mind.
People laughed at me when I said it when Buffalo was 50-1 to win the Super Bowl. When they were 6-6, they were worth a flyer. I hate to keep bringing that up, but again, where I was going with that, they may not even make the playoffs, right, guys? Let's be realistic. But when I start looking at pretenders and contenders, I look at that point per game and yard per game differential. When you get this deep into the season, speaks volumes to me. And you got a Buffalo team that's 8-6 right now. They're plus 8 point per game differential and plus 65 yards per game differential. Those are the types of teams you could look for and again, it's not like they're getting it all done in the last few weeks. That's been all year. The problem with a team like the Bills is they beat themselves with turnovers early on. Now, when you get the running game going, hopefully that takes Josh Allen doesn't have to feel like he has to win, because in the time that he's been there, it always seems like Allen needs to take the onus of responsibility and carry the team on his shoulders. And as we've seen, he makes stupid mistakes as a result playing hero ball. But in any event, any other further comments in terms of the AFC, if you want to chime in, guys?
If Buffalo does end up playing Baltimore, they'd be getting some points, I suppose, and I'll be taking the Bills.
Will they, though? Will they? I mean, if they win out,
wouldn't they be at? I mean,
they
Baltimore
would be at Baltimore. But
would
I would almost think that it would be close to a pick'em game if they went out, Jess. Okay, if they went out, and win the division, they're the only advantage I think Baltimore will have going into that matchup if Buffalo. I mean, this is a lot of ifs.
I would say if they go limping into the playoff, if Baltimore goes limping into the playoffs, then perhaps it'd be a pick'em. But if Baltimore finishes strong, wins 2 of their final 3 games, or that big win, what were you saying? So if they lose San Francisco and then come back and beat the snot out of Miami, it's Miami next week for Baltimore, right?
Yeah.
A big win over Miami. If they dominate Miami.
So what would you think the line would be? I'm just curious. I mean, Sean, you're good at this.
Field goal for home field?
I think Baltimore probably like a field goal, 2.5.
Because I just go. I mean, when you looked at it last week, Buffalo being a 2-point favorite at home against a 10-3 team in Dallas. And if the game was played at Dallas, you would be looking at what? I mean, I guess you guys are right, but we'll see. Yeah. That's a lot of conjecture and a lot of things still. Even though it's 3 weeks left in the regular season, there's still a lot of football left to be played. Sean, tell the folks what you may have coming up this week and why they should spend their hard-earned money on you.
Bowl action, baby. We got bowl tonight. We got NFL tonight. Bowl action tomorrow, Saturday. NFL Saturday as well. NFL on Sunday. Monday, yeah, I got a lot of stuff. I think I got 20 bowl games left on the docket. NFL loaded up for the Christmas weekend. College hoops, 2-2 yesterday. College hoops, but again, I was 4-2 the day before, so hopefully get the college basketball online. You're gonna get a lot of plays with me, so you got bored for a weekly pass. Super. If you just want to pick on a game, go for it. Get it. Not just me, but everybody on site. At least get a weekend pass. Get a 3-day pass. Get a weekly pass. Especially with bowls, you're going to get at least 10 games for most people between NFL and college football. You're going to get 10 games minimum. That's even counting hoops or hockey.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what I always say, folks. You can't judge a handicapper on one day. You should, do a Google search on each one of us at the site, and you'll certainly see a lot more positive things than negative things. Now, we can't make everybody happy because sometimes people catch us at the wrong time, and timing is everything, okay?
Yep.
But timing isn't everything if you invest in a handicapper of our caliber in over the long haul, okay? Then it's a true test of time. And Jesse, tell the folks how you've passed the true test of time and why they should invest in you.
Yeah, I mean, we got to keep it real, and to keep it real, some mixed results for me over the past week or two or month, maybe even the past month, but still hitting at well above 50%. I did go on the show yesterday and said that I've hit 66% of my college basketball money line plays over the last decade. So that's a long time, 10 years in the gambling business. 66%, and I had North Carolina on the money line last night, minus 145, pretty easy winner there. So make it 66 plus now for the last decade. Did sweep the board with college basketball last night. Unfortunately, went 1-2 with NBA, the Sacramento Kings. It was a great spot for them, but they just couldn't get her done. I was a little disappointed with that, but I'll take the 3-2 for a small profit anytime. And look forward to some college hoops plays, NHL plays, and soccer plays, in addition to, of course, the NFL this weekend.
Yeah, don't forget about the NHL, folks, and in soccer too. I mean, you don't have if you invest in stocks, are you watching the stock board all night long? Because the worst excuse I hear from people is, I don't know anything about the NHL. I don't watch the NHL. Well, it's sports betting. Okay, you don't have to watch to win. We don't watch every second of every game that we have. Okay, I mean, we have to have a life too. Now, we spend a lot more time watching games than the majority of other people do. There's no question about it. But my point being is, just because it's a sport that you're not enamored with, it's not been one of your favorites, you don't watch it all, doesn't mean that you can't participate in making money. And Jesse has done that in both soccer and the NHL over the years, as well as the mainstream sports as well. I started out 2-5 in week 1 in the NFL football season, 52-35 since week 2. That's good for 60%. My NFL totals on a 14-6 run. That's good for 70%. I went 1-1 last night with my NBA. Both were sides, which, if you've been following me for a while, I've done very well with. I'm now 59-26, 69% with my NBA sides since April 11th of this year, which dates back to last season, obviously. I had Chicago plus the points last night, outright winner over the Lakers. And like Jesse, I thought the Sacramento Kings were in a prime position against Boston, especially with Jason Tatum out. And defense was an afterthought, is all I could tell you for the Kings last night. All sports, 213 and 152 since August the 4th. Good for 58%. Good for a profit of $45,560 for my dime bettors. So a lot of good things from all three of us over at gamblersworld.net. And there's 7 other great handicappers besides ourselves. Don't forget, folks, we will be back tomorrow. We'll be doing a live show at 3 p.m. Eastern time. It's our last show before the Christmas holidays, and we won't resume. We will not be broadcasting on Christmas Day, Monday, but we'll resume on Tuesday with these two gentlemen as well after the Christmas holidays. So it's your look.
Come on, no Monday, Ross. What are you doing? I'm doing 2 shows on Christmas Eve. I got midday money on Christmas. What are you doing? Let's go. Come on, this is nonsense.
Talk to my wife. Anyway, and then good luck with that, Sean, in that order. In any event, yeah, that's where we're at, folks. A live show. You're able to chime in with all your questions and comments, folks. I know a lot of you have a lot of ideas out there, a lot of questions, and a lot of strong opinions. It's your time to voice them and get an immediate response. Who doesn't want an immediate response if you have a question, concern, or strong opinion? Everybody does. So this is your opportunity to do so. 3 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. Tune in. Live show every Friday. So put it in your calendar. In any event, Jesse, there's a like button underneath.
You want to smash that like button.
All right, folks. Smash that like button. I'll even say if you touch it, that's okay, too.
Just don't hit it twice.
Just don't hit it twice like Chip told us to do. Hit that like button, folks. It's just a small token of appreciation for the work, time, and effort we put into bringing you a quality podcast 6 times a week, every week, 52 weeks a year. And our goal is always, and will continue to be always, is to make you a smarter sports better today than you were yesterday. Don't forget, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, it's absolutely free to do so. There's a black subscribe button right underneath. If you're watching on your mobile device or you're watching on your smart TV, just click on that. That'll get you subscribed. And if you're watching on your PC, you'll see a WC logo in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Click on that. Absolutely free. Take one step further if you're new. Take one step further if you have not done this already and you have subscribed, is to go into your YouTube settings and click on the alert notification bell for the Gamblers or for the Winner's Circle Sports Betting channel, and that will get you notified immediately upon any of our podcasts going up on our great channel. Till the next time, for Jesse Schule and Sean Higgs, Mr. Jim Quinn, Seth, one of our other producers, we like to wish each and every one of you, from all of us, a very Merry Christmas and a happy holiday season. Take care and God bless, folks.